Hello, this is Magda, and I'm happy to welcome you all to a new episode of Ace Alliance Insights, where together with my amazing guests, we discuss all things iGaming. Today's topic is particularly interesting as the industry event season is in full swing. Whether it's ICE, SBC, Sigma, or other regional shows, events are where the real action happens. But how do you turn a handshake into a deal, a quick chat into a long-term relationship, or a business card exchange into a new friendship? To explore this, I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who has truly mastered the art of event networking in iGaming, Monika Zlateva, Chief Commercial Officer at City Interactive. Monika, welcome to the show.
Hello, Magda. Thank you very much for having me. It's really amazing to be here with you. It's always a pleasure to speak to you as well. And I'm really following your episodes with anticipation. I'm really happy to be in one of them now with you.
I am very happy to hear this, and I'm also super excited to have you here. Monika, since we met an event, and I know you have traveled a lot for industry expos, what was the last one that you attended?
Actually, my last one was a few months ago, and it was ICE Barcelona.
So this is exactly the one that we met.
No, we met in Sigma last year. So
Right.
ICE Barcelona was just here in end of January. But I've actually limited a little bit the traveling and the overwhelming going to different exhibitions because, as you mentioned very well, I've done it so many times, hundreds and hundreds of times. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now. And now I'm giving the floor and the space to my team members so that they have, their own experiences, their own connections, their own opportunities to mingle, to connect with industry experts, to learn new things. And of course, I'm keeping some events for myself as well. I'm going with them.
Yeah, and we're going to discuss those things a little further in our conversation. I do remember ICE Barcelona. It was a really great one, but it was massive. That was like one of the largest ones that I have ever attended. Everyone, this session is brought to you by Pinup Partners, the leading iGaming affiliate program with over 8 years of experience, flexible geo terms, and award-winning reliability. Monika, you just mentioned you have vast experience in iGaming, going almost 20 years now. I think next year it's going to be the 20-year anniversary. Plus, you have more than 11,000 followers on LinkedIn. So first of all, congratulations on both those achievements. They are incredible. I'd love to learn more about your iGaming career, though. Can you tell us a bit about your journey? What pulled you into iGaming industry in the first place?
All right, my journey started back in 2006, and it happened by chance. For the simplest reason that I spoke Greek language, and it was my entry level into the iGaming. But we quickly clicked, and back in the day, it was not even called iGaming; it was called still gambling. And I guess it was the people who brought me in, and the people I work for, the people I work with, because I guess the first real experience and um, you know the thing when it's like I feel in the right place, it's my place, I feel I can belong here. It was because of a conversation I had with a VIP client back for the company I work for, and then I decided this is a very intriguing, exciting new world, and it was all about digitalization, which was still new in the days back in 2006. And I really wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn it all. I wanted to become a star, and I wanted to meet more people like this. Exciting for me, brand new reality.
I see. It looks like you really had an amazing journey back in 2006. I don't even know what I was doing. Definitely not iGaming. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yes.
Do you recall any particular moment when it really clicked that iGaming is the industry for you?
Yes, I mean, I was doing this for already 9 years when I gave up. And I actually decided, I had my personal dilemmas, and back in the days, we didn't really speak about it, but it was, in a way, something to do with the moral and with um, the essence of the business, because at the end of the day, this is iGaming. We're talking about sports betting, about casino, about poker, and I wanted to take a different direction with my coaching because I was in the days getting my coaching diploma. Uh, but I spent 8 months away from the iGaming, and then I realized it is not about the industry, it's about the people. And then things are so much changing. So if you have your personal ethic, if you have your personal morals, and if you think you can bring certainly something of a good value to this industry, then you should not be quitting, but you should be going back there, and you should be really embracing those challenges. And I'm really happy because over the last few years, it is becoming really regulated. And I went from B2C actually to the B2B side in 2015. And it was when I realized that things are not so simple. And I really have a place in this industry. And it was then when I actually rejoined after 8 months, when I clicked and I decided there are amazing people here, there are amazing projects, there is a lot of innovation, and there is a lot of knowledge which can be shared and useful not only for this industry, but I mean, I thought we were slow paced, but when I exited and I saw the real world out there, I was like, I know I have to be back, because it's really thrilling. It's really exciting to be building this history with so many people. And this is all about, at the end of the day, leisure and entertainment, because on one side is the B2B side, and the business. On the other side are the customers. And at the end of the day, we're all here to create value for those people and for their leisure. And yeah, it's really exciting with this all these things, AI and virtual reality and everything which is happening. So I want to stay here still. I still
Yeah,
have what to do and to contribute and to learn from every event, from every single person you meet.
I absolutely agree. And you said you thought it was a slow-paced industry. Um, I came from actually slow-paced industries, and seeing iGaming, I realized that yes, it is very fast-paced. Even though this is such an overused word recently, but it is fast-paced. But also, it is so exciting. There is always something new happening. There are new regulations. You have to, make yourself useful there. Uh, it's really an one of a kind, I would say, industry. You
It
know,
is. It is.
yes. And we met during an event in Malta, November last year, and my very first impression of you was really high, as I realized that I'm really talking to someone that knows her way around iGaming and industry events. But I think people sometimes underestimate how much groundwork you need to do before an event, lining up meetings, researching attendees, setting certain goals. So, as a business development expert, what are your recommendations for people in iGaming that are preparing to go to industry events?
Okay, so you mentioned all these things, but I would say first and foremost is you have to work with yourself. First, you have to understand exactly where you stand and what is it exactly that you want to do and achieve. Because when you work for a company and you're an employee and they send you to achieve certain goals, then you have an agenda which is in a way given to you by the company. Of course, if you are more independent in a management position, then you create your own agenda. You know who you need to meet. You know there is a lot of information recently, especially on LinkedIn. For each and every event, everyone is sharing their nice video and picture, inviting people to go to connect. But actually, you need to do some work before that. And I would say first is your business agenda, which needs to be precise. So it needs to be for sure not stacked. So you need to do your preparation. So you need to, preparation prevails failure. So do your own research, understand who is going, who you need to meet, what you need to discuss exactly into the meeting, and write everything down. So have everything down, have it on your phone. So with every single meeting, you know exactly what is the agenda you need to follow, because it becomes overwhelming. People are running from a meeting to a meeting. Sometimes meetings get canceled, change all the time. You have to run in a big venue like in Barcelona from a room to a room, and there are a lot of delays. So make sure you realize what a floor plan is. If it's a, let's say, full day, 8-day event, if it's a networking event in the evening, again, have your own agenda and know what exactly is happening at this event, because you need to prepare yourself. I mentioned about the business agenda, but then you need to work on your own personal agenda. And for me, this was always a prevailing thing, because after almost 20 years in the industry, you can get really exhausted and fed up with events, or you can be excited and waiting for another event. And this can only happen if you know what is the next thing you want to achieve as a human being. Let's say, what is it a place that you visit again, or is it a new place? So if it's a new place, it makes a really difference, because then the excitement is bigger. But if it's the same old thing, the same old event, the same old venue you need to visit, then obviously you need to raise your motivation. So you need to have a personal agenda. And for me, it's always what, who am I? Who do I want to be after that event? Like, when I look at myself in the mirror, who is that woman across? Like, oh, how does she sound? How does she look like? What did she learn? How she can contribute? What she can share with the team after? And then, of course, when you balance these two agendas, the personal and the business agenda, and give space. So you need to have enough space between meetings, between, I would say, even personal space. And this space can be even 2 minutes, but you need to have that space to reflect on what is happening. Have, as I said, hand the agenda in hand. Always take notes. This is really important after the meetings. And it's not, not paying attention or being disrespectful when you speak to the person. You can always explain, like, I'm taking notes because I want to follow up on that. Because at the end of the day, going to an event without knowing what your goal is, and you will never, I mean, you will get something, but you just don't know what you're going to get. But if you have a goal, and then you will have a score, like, how did I score? Did I go from 0 to 10? Am I on 10? Like, did I meet everyone I wanted to meet? Did I learn everything I wanted to learn? Maybe there is a conference you want to attend, and you get something new, or just make a new contact. But this is the easiest way for me, is always writing things down. And now even artificial intelligence can help you. They can, remind you, like, this is your next meeting. This is what you wanted to achieve. You don't even have to read it nowadays. It's very interactive.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And what you said about having, both your business agenda and the personal agenda with space in between. This is something I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately, back in Malta, because we were doing a lot of interviews. And then I started to realize I set back-to-back meetings. But I need the time because the other booth is on a completely opposite side of that venue. And I was running, and at some point I realized, okay, I haven't even had any lunch yet. Like, this is something I really had to learn the hard way. And those things, then, steps that you mentioned, are so important, especially for someone who might be a little bit overwhelmed by the larger expos, such as ICE or SBC. Those events are really massive. And I think for someone attending for the first or even the second time, you can feel like if you're not doing everything, you're missing out. But the truth is, trying to do everything usually means you don't do anything well. So what's your strategy when it comes to planning your attendance at very large events? Is there anything that you stopped doing, or maybe you added it to your to-do list before events?
Actually, yes. And back in the days when I started, there were the things. First, nobody taught me how to do this. And second, most of the events I was in the very beginning, I had to travel alone. So I didn't have a travel buddy, no one like from as a team member to share, to learn. So some of the things I learned the hard way. And I have a short list, let's say, of things. First thing is things I stopped doing, okay? And they say dress to impress. For me, when I was young, it was so important. I wanted to be liked by everyone. I wanted really to impress, to follow that. But then I learned with these events, first, don't dress to impress, dress accordingly. What it means, dress according to your schedule, because sometimes you with these big events that happen, you you wake up in the morning and you don't know how your day will end when you're going to be back in your hotel room, for example. So for me, one of the most important things was first have a huge breakfast. I know many people, especially women, avoid having some meals. But as I know, my day sometimes is like really every 30 minutes you have another meeting and you have to run here and there if you don't have a stand. Or even if it's a conference, you still, have certain breaks, but you don't know when you're going to eat. Because even when you go to this kind of lunches and events, you don't go there to eat. You go there to speak to people, to interact. And actually, this is just an opportunity to speak to people. But if you have your stomach empty, then you think only about food, you cannot focus. So I'm really happy you mentioned that with the lunch, because this first thing is like have a huge breakfast, have an apple or something in your bag, because you never know when you're going to eat next. Then don't dress to impress, dress accordingly, which means, I would dress according to age now. I would dress according to the, let's say, if you go to Spain, maybe you use, a bit brighter colors. If you go to another country when it's like a strictly business and there is heavy regulation and the government representatives are there, maybe you're gonna choose different colors. But it would mean always check what your occasion would be, and don't try to be like by anyone. Just try to be comfortable. Have an extra pair of shoes. Okay, that's super important for a woman, because if you don't wear sneakers, maybe it's not appropriate for that day. Maybe for the evening, you're just going to stay with the same attire. Because sometimes, after these events, especially if it's a full day event, you go there and it's really exciting. You make your meetings, but by the end of the day, I guess it's the sweetest part, because then everybody's kind of relaxed. They overdid their agenda sometimes, or they are. People are just having a drink, or maybe it's just an iced tea. It doesn't have to be alcoholic drink. And you speak with people, it's more relaxed. And then there is another event usually to go, because after one event, you have a few invitations. And so don't plan to go back to your hotel. Make sure you're so comfortable and you're appropriate for the next events to follow, because you don't want to lose the momentum. Sometimes you just meet an amazing crowd of people and you want to stay with them. And this is going to add more value than just going back and taking a shower, etc. So all these things are very simple and very physical, but they're super important, because I've noticed, and I learned this from men in the industry. Women, we always try to be, I want to change my makeup, I want to do my hair. This is really not important, because if you are in the right vibe, if you are self-confident, if you're happy, because at the end of the day, most of these events, especially in the evening, are about fun and about relaxing and about just being natural with people, and not, being overwhelmed and stressed how you're going to get from A to B point, especially in big cities like London, when you have to travel for hours. So these are simple tips. I don't know if I'm missing something important. I mentioned about taking notes on the phone, which is super important for me. And at the end of the day, yeah, don't try to be liked by everyone and be yourself.
Yeah, this is some very brilliant advice, to be honest, Monika, and thank you so much for sharing this. I believe our listeners and viewers have already made quite a few notes based on your tips. And now I'd like to turn the tables a little bit and talk about quality connections. So let's dig a bit deeper into the actual networking part of events, because for a lot of people, that's the most intimidating part. I know for me it was. What are some of your go-to networking tips for breaking the ice? Maybe some habits that you developed over the years that help you build stronger relationships at events?
Okay, so first, it's very important whether you go alone or whether you go with someone. Because if you go alone, the first thing to do is to find a buddy. Okay, so when you go to this event, so you need to find someone to connect first, just to break the ice, and to try and connect with other people. Imagine if it's a conference day, full day when you go, then okay, the etiquette there of this kind of events is one. So you might decide to stay alone on your chair, take notes for a full day, or you might decide to approach people in the coffee breaks and just have a natural conversation. And it could be something really, which I found very working for me. And usually it would be if you see someone else sitting there alone, or apparently they don't have a big group of people, so it might be that they want to be approached, and they might be not confident enough, or maybe it's their first event. So find a person like this, be open, be smiley, and be very open. Like, hello, I'm alone today. Can you be my buddy? So maybe we sit together, maybe we just exchange ideas. What do you think about this conference? Or how many people did you meet? Where do you work for? Which is your company? What do you do? I mean, I think the biggest mistake I did in the very beginning was I was talking too much. So I realized this is a very important tip, as to speak slowly and to ask questions. This is very important because this will help you connect with people, because asking questions is you help people open up, not just, close questions, yes, no, but really be interested in these people, because you will approach someone you feel like you can connect, or is someone who looks interesting for you. It might be even a group of people if you're more bold and this is another event you go to. So this is the first thing. If you need to find someone like a buddy, a crowd to stick with, because these people, and you can make the promise, like, I will connect you with my connections. Maybe you introduce me to the people you know, and this will make more fun, because people don't want to be bored. People don't want to be alone. They want to be connected. This is why they go there, not just to learn new things. And if you are really giving a friendly hand, a nice smile, speak slowly, show understanding, you will maybe be amazed. Maybe you will meet amazing people who look shy, but they are on important position in some company, or even they're investors, because you will be intrigued how many investors go to these events alone, because they are overwhelmed with I don't know, different things, and they just want to feel the crowd. So this is the thing. If you go with people, then this is a different approach, because for me, the other important technique which I've used, when you go and you introduce yourself to people, first, don't wait to be introduced. If even if you are with people, if you see someone you saw on LinkedIn, and this person you wanted to meet them for a long time, just go there and introduce yourself. Don't wait for someone to connect you with them. Trust me, even the people on the highest positions, business owners, I've seen these are the most friendly people, and they're always open for connections, because otherwise they wouldn't be at this event. If they wanted to be, I don't know, on their yacht, secluded, they wouldn't be on a networking event. So they are intrigued. And especially if you are speaking to some important people with businesses or business decision makers, um, I've seen you need to have your elevator speech. I know it sounds, very trivial, but you can shape your elevator speech in the best way. And in our industry, but I think it's common for all the industries. This is about ROI, what you do and how you can help people make more money or help them save money. So if this is included into your speech, and if you know exactly how much money you can help this company make, or just as a percentage, or if you know how much money you can save for them, or what different value you can add, they will be interested or no. But if you are direct, and if you don't waste people time, if you speak slowly, and if you ask questions, I think people would be interested to speak to you, to connect with you, whether you go alone or whether you go with your coworkers. So, but when you go to this with your coworkers, be aware, don't stay only with them. Don't stay like a closed group and you don't want anyone in, because you can do these parties in your office in a different time, but this is the time actually for these events to invite other people to your group. Another thing would be even find like I would say a drinking buddy. You can a technique I've used. you find someone, you say, let's go to the bar and have a shot. And if the person doesn't drink alcohol, it can be just, a limoncello shot, or I don't know, something, even a sparkling water. But if you go to the bar, usually there is a big crowd there with events which are not full day. I mean, I'm talking about like afternoon events. Then the bar is usually there are crowds of people, and you can connect with a lot of people, and usually just saying cheers, can open a door. Just smile. Smiling is the most important. It's the invitation to a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I fully agree, and I really love your tips. One tip that I heard for people that are going alone is actually approaching other group of people and saying, "Hey, I don't know anyone here. Do you?" And so, naturally the conversation starts. And I think the first moment is maybe the most intimidating, because you're like, oh, maybe they're busy, maybe they're doing something else. I don't want to interrupt them. It's also something that we women often do. But like you said, it's a networking event. If somebody wanted to be in another place, they would be there.
Exactly.
But that they come here for a reason. And how you establish a connection is so extremely important. So rather than going with a ready script as well, always listen to the other person, like you were saying, ask questions, relate to what they say. And sometimes what I have found very fascinating in this industry is how cultural differences play such a big role in how people build relationships. So you've worked with partners from all over the world, and have you noticed any differences in how people connect and do business at events depending on where they come from?
Well, I would say that in iGaming we're kind of blessed, and it is especially after COVID, really international, and we embrace differences. Uniqueness is always invited, so people are not prejudiced. You're always like much more open, because I know in other differences like banking sector things are a little bit different, and of course there are cultural differences, and of course you need to understand where you go first and what kind of event is, who is going to this event. So the most important is who is going. Of course the most important is why you are going and how you can contribute, but then who else is going. Now, what is the country? The simplest thing is understand what is the dress code of the event. And let's say if they're in certain countries, maybe certain colors are not very well accepted. Let's say if you're going, because now we know and we are waiting to see, let's say, what is going to happen with United Emirates, if it's going to open out now with the new casino. But if you go, let's say, to an event there, be very careful what colors you put, what kind of clothes you put. So this is just the bare minimum. Of course, what kind of people would go, as I said, if it's going to be regulatory and there will be government bodies, because then there is a different etiquette. So you need to understand the etiquette of the event you're going. And there is a difference if you're going to a Malta beach event when everybody's in their swimming suit, or if you are going to a higher regulatory conference. And as I said, the most simple thing is to at least to learn how to say, to greet in the language. And if there is a specific etiquette, how to say even cheers in the language, because as I said, this is a door opener in many cases. And for example, for me, it was one event that I learned so many things about a culture just from a dinner, that I was so intrigued to read about the country and to visit the country, to stay more time in the country because of this event, which was not even in that country, but it was, let's say, a cultural event for a group of people. And yeah, these are the things now. Everything you find in Google, AI will tell you, will give you tips. So it's very easy now. It's not like back in the days when I don't know, you have to read an encyclopedia. But now things are so different. And as I said, we're still blessed because it's very international. Even if you make a mistake, and if you realize it's a mistake, you can always make it a fun moment, apologize. The most important is not to be disrespectful to the culture, and do your homework before you go to the event. That's the most important. Prep.
this is really good advice. And I think, once the connection is made, there's one possible challenge, in my opinion, and it's losing the momentum after the event. So people often get back to their day-to-day work, which is, the work is always piling up. It's always like this. We're in iGaming, and what they don't do is they don't nurture the new connections enough. So what do you usually do after an event to keep those conversations going and turn them into real partnerships?
Okay, so first, you don't have to wait until you go back home and until when the event is finished. You have to start working on the follow-up while you are at the meeting, at the event with this person, because you will lose the momentum if you don't agree on certain things. And the first thing to agree is one simple step, which you both will take right after the event, and to kind of make this person commit to this. How you make this person commit? You ask, do we agree on that? Is this what we're going to do next? And it could be just, when I go back home, I will send you an email and we will agree to make a follow-up call. But then the important to commit is, when do I do it? How do I do it? Whether it's going to happen on which channel is going to happen, whether it's going to be face to face, who is going to attend. So you need to make sure this is happening. Then for me, something which is really important is working. I try to connect with people I really want to do business with already on LinkedIn and in every single channel while we still speak. Because exchanging, digital card, you have the digital, there may be even a physical card, you have all the information. But imagine you meet, I don't know, 100 new people today, then you don't put a face to a name or a company. You might get really mixed up at the end of the day, along with the rest of the meetings that you have. So for me, the people I really want to connect with and do business with and follow up, of course, I make a note, but then I connect with them on LinkedIn, because I work in visual, like I need to see the picture of the person, and then LinkedIn has it all. Lots of people actually put their CV out there, like I did, all of their experience, all of their causes even they support. So this helps you a lot, because you already can, check that person while you're talking with them, and you say, okay, I see you worked in this company. Oh, I see you, I don't know, you're a Greenpeace follower, and I do the same. So you can find a reason to connect even with a new person. And of course, when you connect, not just connect, but, send a message, say, hi, this is Monika from this company, like we spoke, and I will follow up with you next week. So, and then when I go back, of course, I have my notes. I have my agenda with notes, which everything happens on my phone, of course. Then I go back home, I see my LinkedIn, and I see I actually messaged 20 people. So maybe I connected with 100, but 20 I really want to do something with, like some business, or we like connect and I don't know, go hitchhiking, I don't know, depending whether it's a personal or business agenda. Then it's easier to follow up. And if you already like agreed with that person and got them commit to something, we can say like, you committed, like we agreed on that. Do you remember? Of course, some of the people will not remember and you will not reconnect, and this is natural. So you need to accept, it's like in sales. You have big sales funnel. At the end of the day, you close a deal only with, a certain percent, depending on how you reacted in this networking event, how you interacted with the person, how you connected, and whether you can actually add value to their business, or they can add value to your business. Then this is the most important. And some connections are nice to have. Some connections will remain shallow, I would say, on the shallow, but some will actually really go into the depth, and maybe you will build strong business partnerships, or even on personal level you will connect with people, and you will start following them, and you will start learning about their industry, and something else. I mean, you will develop yourself as a person. You will evolve because of this relationship and this connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are really, really solid insights. Monika, thank you so much for them. And now I'd like to change the topic a tiny bit, just a tiny bit because we're
Sure.
still at events. So anyone working in iGaming knows that traveling is such a huge part of the job. Because you may be in Malta one week, then in London, then Sao Paulo, then Manila, then somewhere else. How do you personally manage that pace? I know you mentioned that you're more, let's say, selective when it comes to events, but what does your travel routine usually look like when you are getting ready for an event?
Okay, so first, I think in the iGaming, this is one of the most appealing things, especially for people who are new joiners, who are learning the business now, and who are not really exhausted with traveling and not so selective, because traveling around the world, meeting people from different cultures, and having these amazing opportunities to mingle uh, is is really amazing. It not many industries offer this opportunity, so we need to be very thankful that this industry is developing in this way, and we can do that. Those traveling. So first of all, traveling is not bad. I used to live on the airplanes, between airplanes and hotels, but if you have a good balance between your personal agenda and your business agenda, then your preparation is quite easy because it will mean if sometimes even going to a new place or a familiar place, you can combine an event with some time off. And some companies do allow that you take a few days off, and of course on your own expenses, and just or stay for the weekend. Um, Within it doesn't have to be 2 weeks after the event you're just missing from the office, but this is super important that you combine your personal agenda with your business agenda in a smart way. And traveling, planning for the events always happens with most of the companies is not something spontaneous, so you already know the calendar. I mean, the calendar for this year was clear pretty much before October 2024, because we are budgeting and we need to know what is happening. And for me, as I mentioned before, becoming so selective and attending quality of events, I actually did a lot of there was a lot of quantity, so there were a lot of events which were just I had to go to make the experience, to make the connections, to get into the rhythm. So when you become confident enough, when you know exactly what you're doing, and when you can be selective, even if you're not on a managerial position, you can still speak to your company, to your boss, and say, like, listen, like, this event makes more sense than this event. You can start prioritizing and be more selective. But I would say for people who are young, who don't really have families and commitments, this is amazing opportunity. You need to take, of course, breaks. And something which is very important for me for the events, which I forgot to mention, is start your day early. Like, don't stay if you know you have a few day event. Don't on the first night, don't go I don't know, partying until early in the morning, forget yourself, and get everything messed up. Because at the end of the day, you can have a fun part, but this fun part can be at the last day, or it can be after the event. This is something important I learned also the hard way, because of course when you're young, you want to go, you want to experience it all. um, Something important, which I also learned the hard way on these networking events, is don't have chewing gum in your mouth. I know this is something funny, but when somebody comes and tells, like, I don't want to see this beautiful girl chewing a gum and talking to me, then these are really game changers, and these are as well physical things. But you need to be very careful about your time, and especially at the events, because for me, when you have a good balance and a sober mind, and don't get exhausted. Because if you do an overwhelming thing and, like, you get super exhausted and sick, and then you're sick for a week after the event, you don't do any follow-ups, so you're losing the momentum. And the other thing is, I think I mentioned earlier, maybe I will repeat myself, but uh, don't assume you will go back to your hotel to change, to dress, to take a shower. Maybe sometimes you just have to move with the momentum, with the crowd, and go attend something, stay with a group of people, and really experience the culture, get to know the people, because people are so interesting. We're so colorful. So if you give the people the chance to show how unique they are, even if they're not on an important position at a certain company, but they are very ambitious, you would see over the time, with the years, I mean, we're pretty much the same people. If they're motivated, if they're doing well, maybe next time they will be a big CEO. And if you manage to really speak to, in a, let's say, in a good way, with the right people, and you value people for who they are, you will learn new things maybe you didn't know, and you still will combine personal and business agenda. Because after these events, we do a report to our bosses, and we need to know that this report, this trip report, is actually going to give some results to the company. Usually these results are financial.
Yes, absolutely. And you have actually highlighted such details that people often don't even realize. You say about chewing gum. Some people may not have realized this until that moment right now when they're listening to us. So
It's a
thank you.
funny thing, I
Yeah,
know, but trust me, for me it was a game changer, like a game changer.
that's a very specific tip, and I really loved it. And so we spoke about how many conferences and events are happening within the iGaming industry, and obviously, in a perfect scenario, we'd attend them all, but it is just physically not possible. So, what's your take on really deciding which events to attend? Is there like a checklist that you always do, or maybe you as a team want to attend more events and you split those trips between the team members?
Yes, for me, the most important when we are making the calendar for the trips is first, of course, the scope, who is going, whether it's a local event or whether it is more of an international event. And of course, the big international events are a must. Then again, it's about whether you are an exhibitor, or you're a speaker at a conference, or you're hosting some dinner or party afterwards. So it all comes to what the kind of event is and how many businesses mingle. Of course, then it's all about the business that you make. What jurisdictions do you cover? So it doesn't really make sense to go to Manila if you don't work in Asia with your product, if it's not adopted to the localized. Because now we know in this industry, in order for you and your product and your services to actually be spotted and to be competitive, you need to be very localized. You need to be very customized towards the end user, because the users are now, we are users and we are super spoiled, all of us, all of the time. And you are there's a lot on the market, so the competition is really, really high. And then you have to prepare and to really understand, because I might want to go to Manila, but if my company doesn't really have a product for Manila, what I do there, just explore the surface. So go when you are ready. And then how to distribute, of course, me personally, how I select is based on who of my customers, of business partners, are going there, whether I will be speaker, whether I can add any value to a certain conference. So this will define. But the most important is, I said I had a quantity of events over the years. So now for me, the most important is my team members to travel. And some of them, it will be first international exhibition, because some people are, changing from one position to another position, even if they're in the company for a while. And you need to give the people the chance to try and work on their own agendas, to present to to the board, let's say, to the managers, why this visit will make, like, build a business case, why it would make sense, who do I want to meet, what do I want to achieve. This is always the bottom line, because this is an investment, and it's not only about the financial part of it, whether it's trip expenses and some expenses for a ticket for to the exhibition. It's also about resource expenses. So we need to be very careful and selective of how we invest our energy. And just going there and filling an agenda with meetings which make no sense will, first of all, exhaust you. then they will demotivate you. And this is the serious, the hidden threat, not to stay demotivated and to lower your self-esteem on productivity, because you want to reach from 0 to 10. Most of people, they're not perfectionists, but at least they want to be around 7 or 8 in the score, like I did well. Like, they want to feel good about how they achieve of what they do. So we need to be very careful of whether we are too ambitious, or whether we do things just, to impress the management. I had 15 meetings, but none of them would actually yield results, because first, I didn't follow up, or second, I didn't even meet the right people. Um, that's why you have to be very selective and really meet the people who are the right people for you, because just meeting a person working in this company doesn't really help you, and you just have a tick. Yes, I did, I met that customer. Nothing happens then. Why? Because I didn't meet the right person. So this is the selective part of not um, not having overwhelming exhibitions on one side. On the other, really to plan the right events, and maybe for one event you need to send one person, and maybe a person who is also learning to go with them, so you can show them other events. Maybe you just have to skip as a company. And we already are swift changing also the calendar of events we are attending during the year, because it's very fast paced, things are changing, so you need to be present in the moment and to realize whether this is going to actually add value, or you're just going to waste your energy, time, and worst case scenario, you will be demotivated and will question your own abilities and your own knowledge and um, self-esteem. So we don't want to go there. We want to raise our self-esteem after each and every event. We want to grow as people, to evolve, and to stay positive, and to want to go to more events. That's the end, the
Yeah,
bottom line.
that's so true. And this feeling of fulfillment in yourself after an event that you went to and you chose the event well is also so important, because there's really nothing worse than you go to an event and then halfway you realize that's not the one for me. I just wasted so much time. I could have been doing something else. So this is something that you don't want to learn the hard way.
No, sometimes you learn it the hard way, but it's okay. We're people, we make mistakes. You have to adopt. Even if you go to an event which you say, oh my God, this is not the event for me. Like, what am I doing here? Ask again. You're already there. Like, don't quit, because quitting is the worst. Trying to make the most of it. At the end of the day, if it's not business, at least try to relax and to have fun, and to try to learn new things. Maybe if it's something outside of your expertise, you will learn something which you can share with your team afterwards. Because for me, one of the most important things is when people go to these events, they don't keep it all to themselves, but they share it with the team. Because at the end of the day, nobody succeeds alone. And if you help others with information, with connections, with their own issues, with their own customers, it will add value for everyone, and people will like you. And guess what? People in this industry, especially the experts, are not so many. And people value people. They will always want to work with you afterwards, whether this is a company or a big company. And people will always want to connect with you, have another drink with you. They will be happy to see you at their exhibition. They will invite you at their stands. They will give you merch. They will invite you with free tickets, and because they like you, and they will like you if you are truly with good intentions, and if you try to help and try to share. And as I said, if you're really interested in them, because at the end of the day, most of us are only interested how we look in front of everyone. How do they see us? But if we exit our own bodies and try to see, okay, maybe I look good, maybe it's not so bad. How do the people look, and what do they want to achieve, and what do they do? What did they invent? What is their amazing idea? Maybe this will open your doors for, I don't know, maybe you can become a millionaire at the end of the day.
That would be a very
If
good
this is your goal.
scenario.
Yeah,
Thank you so
if this
much.
is your goal, of course, of course.
Yes. Monica, Thank you so much for sharing all your insights with us today. I want to highlight something that really stood out for me today, which is your point about, approaching events with purpose. And this is really what separates good networkers from the ones that really build long-term partnerships. Because one thing is being a good networker, but what happens afterward is equally as important. And it's really great that you were here with us. And before we call it a day, is there one piece of advice you'd like to leave our viewers, our listeners with?
Yes, it's be a real networker. Don't be a tourist networker, just showing up at events with no purpose. And be, of course, your natural self, because at the end of the day, if you are not yourself, you will attract the wrong people and you will not get the right results.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining, Monika. It was a real pleasure. And
thank you for inviting me.
For those who want to connect with you or learn more about City Interactive, what's the best way to reach you?
The best way is always LinkedIn. I'm very responsive there, and I like to read about the people who connect with me. I'd like to see their history and what they do now. Of course, the old-fashioned way, email is always on the table. It is monika.zlateva@cityinteractive.com. And approach me. I'm always happy to hear about you, about your products and services, and of course, how we at City Interactive can help you grow your business.
Amazing. Thank you to everyone who joined today's session. I hope this conversation really helps you walk into your iGaming event with more clarity and confidence. I'm pretty sure you made a lot of pages of notes. And while we speak about events, if you want to put Monika's insights into action, we are coming back with Ace Alliance events. And the next one is happening in Riga on August 14th and 15th. And this is a really exceptional experience where you can connect with your future business partners, but in a different setting, on a boat, at brunch, or a walking tour around Riga, because this is going to be such a beautiful moment to visit the city. And we'd really love to see you there. We're going to publish more information below in the comment section. So I'd also like to thank our today's sponsor, Pinup Partners, which is the leading affiliate program with over 8 years of experience, flexible geoterms, and award-winning reliability. And of course, don't forget to follow Ace Alliance for updates on more sessions like this one. Monika, it was amazing to speak with you today. And I will see you all at the next Ace Alliance Insights episode. Have a great day.
Thank you, Magda. Have a great day.